To really make sense of all of these acquisitions and what's going on, it is basically shoring up your console's relevancy and importance leading into the next generation of gaming. Sony has for a very long time had a world-class studio set. Their first-party studios that were making phenomenal experiences. The one place they struggled, though, was the first-person shooter space. Coincidentally, it's no shock why Microsoft went out and bought not only Bethesda, but Activision Blizzard, because they needed more action adventure-y games that they really weren't satisfied with their development in their first-party studio. What you have now is a frantic buying war between Xbox and Sony in terms of who is going to get that next big studio. And every time you think all the good ones are scooped up, well, somebody comes along and finds something else to pursue. That's why Bungie is joining PlayStation. It's short and it's sweet. It has to do with PlayStation's inability to make a compelling first-party, first-person shooter. And before we get into the news here, keep in mind Sony has gone through this before. Sony worked very closely with Bungie during the development of the original Destiny game. As a result of that, if you recall, there was a really cool limited edition PlayStation console. All the DLC came to PlayStation a year early. There was unique weapons and armaments that were available only on PlayStation, even to this day. And as a result, Destiny was best played on the PlayStation 4. There was a lot of hardware issues behind the scenes with the Xbox One and their identity crisis, but what it really boiled down to was if you were really a fan of Destiny, you played it on PlayStation. That's where everybody was playing it. That had the most richest, fullest, best content. And that's where my friend Sid and I played for over 1,000 hours, grinding through every possible piece of DLC and absolutely enjoying the hell out of that game. So when that partnership was great, things were good. Activision then, unfortunately, came along and bought out Bungie's publishing rights, which gimped that deal with PlayStation. So PlayStation had to look elsewhere. That was when they partnered with Call of Duty, and you saw a lot of Call of Duty content in the same way you saw Destiny content. The Call of Duty League was played on PlayStation consoles. PlayStation was constantly getting stuff, exclusive drops, bonuses, all that sort of stuff, and that was the definitive way to play. Again, hardware played a big factor in that. Still, the PlayStation 4 at the time, very powerful. Things shifted towards the end with the Xbox One X and the PlayStation 4 Pro, but that deal was solidified. Again, Activision came in. That deal was working with Activision until, Xbox came in and swept that deal out from the rug and said, whoop, give me that sweet Call of Duty goodness. So that went back to Xbox. So back to the original problem, PlayStation doesn't have a shooter. Well, who are they going to find? Bungie's available again. Bungie just broke away from their Activision contract. Let's get them. And that's exactly what's going on. Legendary developer to join PlayStation as an independent multi-platform studio and publisher. Now, here is the distinct difference. This is where it gets interesting. When Xbox was buying up all of these things, when Xbox bought Bethesda, when Xbox is in the process of buying Activision Blizzard, Xbox has been kind of sketchy on terms of what to expect. They initially had said, well, it's going to only be on our consoles, and that's it. And then they kind of waffled on that and said, we'll take a look at it. Starfield will be the first real test, as far as I know. That is still remains to be a console exclusive, although if you have a PC, you're immune to all of this, okay, if you have a PC. But if you're just a console-only gamer, then yeah, it looks like Starfield will only be available on the Xbox. PlayStation's taken a very different approach with Bungie saying, hey, listen, it's an independent multi-platform studio and publisher. And the blog post reads that I want to be very clear, and this is, up front and center. I want to be very clear to the community that Bungie will remain an independent and multi-platform studio and publisher. As such, we believe it makes sense for it to sit alongside the PlayStation Studios organization, and we are incredibly excited about the opportunities and synergies and collaboration between these two world-class groups. I have spent a lot of time with Pete Parsons, Jason Jones, and the Bungie management team to develop the right relationships where they will be fully backed and supported by SIE and enabled to do what they do best, build incredible worlds that captivate millions of people. Keep in mind, these guys, Jason Jones in particular, Mr. Halo himself, these are big names that are coming back that worked on Halo 1, Halo 2, Halo 3, worked on the original Destiny, worked on Destiny 2. These guys know how to make shooters. PlayStation's agreement with them very clearly does not take away what Bungie's capability to publish can do. If Bungie wants to make console games for other consoles, namely the Switch or the Xbox, they are entitled to do so. This is more of a creative and a collaborative synergy. Think along the lines of with what Death Stranding was with Hideo Kojima. Very similar in that. The difference is that Sony is spending a whopping $3.6 billion with a B to actually make this happen. So they are definitely spending quite a bit of money on that. Now, to kind of quell what's going on with Destiny 2, remains a very popular free-to-play game. A lot of people really enjoyed it. I sank many, many hours into it as well, although I've since kind of moved on. But, man, I sure did love Destiny 1. Destiny 2 will remain on all current platforms and expand to new platforms. Bungie will remain in full creative control of all things Destiny, and it will be the same game everywhere. Every player will have the same experience. So they've learned from their lessons. This exclusive partnership that Sony struck up with them at the launch of the original Destiny, where timed DLCs and goodies and grab bags and stuff were available only for one platform, that is gone. Bungie actually reached out in a separate blog post to their team. So there's like a duality here. First, you have Herman Hulst basically saying, hey, we're happy to have them. And then immediately Pete Parsons responds and says, hey, we're here too, but we have a creative freedom. So much so that embedded within the official Sony advertisement or announcement of this, rather, it's links directly to Bungie's own website, where Bungie basically lays out their team and their development saying, hey, we're not going anywhere, and we're going to be giving everything to you guys the same wherever you play. So they're very clear about that. And that's, I think, the key difference between this acquisition versus what we've seen with Xbox do. Very upfront, honest communication on what to expect. Now, does that mean that in the future Bungie will make every game for every platform? Of course not. Even though it says it here, you can rest assured that Sony's going to get something sweet out of the deal. It would make no logical sense for Sony to spend $3.6 billion to basically just sit alongside the table with the folks over at Destiny. That makes no sense. So they're, of course, working on unique experiences. There will be a blend and a synergy, just like we saw with Death Stranding and the Horizon Zero Dawn team over at Guerrilla Games. You will see creative synergies. You will see a blending of studios. You will see a blending of concepts and ideas that exclusively favor people on the PlayStation side. But everything else up to this point remains to be open season. It seems that it will be business as usual for a time. When those creative forces begin to merge together, I think you'll start to really understand and bear the fruit, if you're a Sony fan, of kind of what to expect. But this is a really big deal. This is a significant amount of money. I had thought, and I think many others have thought as well, that Sony was not really going to bite as hard as Microsoft did. Microsoft went on this mad buying spree, picking up multiple games, megabucks. Seems like we're fading away from that a little bit now, until Sony comes along and reinvigorates the fire. Can't wait to see what happens here, but as a Sony pony to the end, I am incredibly excited. Hope you guys found this video informative. Thank you so much for watching. Take care of yourselves, and until next time, I will see you guys on the other side.